where the American bases are there. These bases are within 500 kilometers. So Iran has got all those missiles which it had earlier with its short-range missiles. It is with them. It will continue firing those things, and that will continue. That is one thing. Secondly, Iranian proxy in Iraq, Kataib Hezbollah, keep an eye on to that. American interest in Iraq as such is under circumspect. Iraqi don't want US to be there. So Kataib Hezbollah will have all rights to attack the American interest within Iraq. That is second thing. Third thing, now these missile systems, any system, any defense, air defense system in the world, if it is going to be concentrated or it is going to be jammed with the incoming threats, it will give way. And that is what we have seen, what happened in Israel in the early days, as well as in the late times when the Iranian missiles were coming there. So if there are two right now, aircraft carrier in the region, Ford in the Mediterranean and Lincoln in the Arabian Sea somewhere close by. Now, Lincoln is within the range of about 1,000 kilometers. There are plenty of missile systems with Iran, which if 30 or 40 are going to be fired simultaneously at one go, targeted to or locked onto the Lincoln, God bless America. And same is the system today. I got slightly scared because there is a port in Israel. I think it is Haida. What is the port where from the smoke was coming today? I think Haifa. Haifa port, it has got the thick cloud coming up there, and US aircraft carrier Ford is in that region. So I got a scare. Has it been hit? But I understand it has not been. Otherwise, it would have been a different story by now here in the entire world. So all these things are happening. God bless America. God bless Iran. Both are radical. Both are radical states because they have got double approach in everything. Iran, yes, has the right as a sovereign nation.
You're grouping them together. I don't think either of them will like it very much.
I know it will be unpleasant, but then look, why has America attacked Iran in the first place? Is there any basis? That is what my opening address was. That is very unfortunate.
Right.
Talk was going on. If nuclear arsenal was the focus, that could have been resolved by talk.
Right.
If ballistic missile was the focus, ballistic missile production is not going to be stopped. And remember, once you have the technology, whether of nuclear enrichment or the missile technology, no one is going to stop it. You may finish all those things, we can knock out right now. But the moment war stops, again the production will start. Again the uranium enrichment will start.
Okay. So it's never going to stop, is what your assessment is. Also joining me on the show is Surinder Singh Lalli, foreign affairs expert. Surinder Singh Lalli, so I have to ask you, in which case, I think we've been discussing the eventual possibilities of how this war will end and should end. Do you see this war ending anytime soon, given that it's spread out very rapidly compared to the 12-day war we saw in 2025? This is different. The scale is different. Magnitude is different. Even the targets are extremely high profile. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been attacked. Presidential palace has been attacked. So the scale is quite different from the ones that we've seen so far.
Thank you, Shweta. It's such a pleasure and honor for me to be here. And I think you asked me a billion-dollar question. I mean, starting a war or a difference in opinion of any kind is well within the domain of the individual who starts. But when it's going to finish, I don't think anybody can guess it. You know, Shweta, a tiger goes to kill while the deer is running to escape. So the point I'm trying to make in this case is that the tiger is the military might of the state of Israel and United States put together, and Iran is the deer. So the tiger will go as long as it's able to get its hands. If it doesn't get one deer, then it'll wait and attack the next and the other one. But the deer has to run for life. The deer will run to any extent because it's a matter of survival. Now, that's how I see Iran. Iran has been pushed to a corner to the point where Iran will want to regionalize this issue. I mean, Iran can go to any extent as long as it can get the world's attention and the heat reaches the United States, because the United States has 8 bases with 47,000 people just in the near range. So this is far more complicated than it appears to be, because it's the might of the Israeli lobby in America, which is what you call APAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, which pressurizes the Congress and the likes of Donald Trump so that Israel can use the United States of America to its own vested interest. And I'm not going to mention the Epstein files here, because that's a different case, different discussion for a different day, but might have elements in this too. And yes, what my previous panelists said, I fully agree with them.
All right.
That I'm neither with the United States or with Israel, because both of them, or with Iran, because both of them have, a very checkered path. So no sides to be taken. But to your question is that I don't think we've seen the worst of it yet, because lack of a better expression, the party has just started.
All right. This is the party that nobody wants to be a part of, unfortunately. But that's all the time I have, gentlemen. Mr. Lalli, as well as Pathikrit, and I believe Group Captain is also with us. Thank you very much, the three of you, for taking time out. Now, as of this morning, United States said that US has begun major combat operation alongside Israel. It has launched a barrage of missiles against Iran. Iran retaliated hours later, targeting Israel and US assets in multiple Middle Eastern countries, including Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, Syria, Jordan and Iraq. Multiple explosions have been heard in Iran's capital, Tehran, while blasts have also been reported in several other locations. Several countries across the region have shut their airspace amid exchange of attacks. So the war is now fast spreading to other countries in the Middle East as well. Joining me on the show for an exclusive conversation is George Birnbaum, former advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So thank you very much for taking time out. Let me begin by asking you, how is this the correct, right timing to bomb Iran? What was the thought that went behind bombing Iran this morning? And how did the IDF and the Israeli administration, along with the US administration, decided that today is the right appropriate day to strike Iran?
So there are probably several different answers to that question. A lot has to do with having the assets in place, military assets in place to do the job and hit the targets that American and Israel wanted to do. It took time to bring those assets to bear from the United States. The second was the U.S. was giving negotiations a chance, and they were making real-time assessments whether those negotiations were in good faith or a delay tactic. As the negotiations were going on, there was still the Iranian regime trying to enrich uranium, and by all public statements that we've seen, as well as intelligence reports, the Iranians are very close to hitting that critical mass of enriched uranium to build weapons. They had no intention of stopping their ballistic missile program, although the Omani foreign minister yesterday said that they'd agreed to stop stockpiling. There was still no agreement to stop enriching. There was no agreement to stop ballistic missile programs. And so I think it reached a critical point where both the experts on the diplomatic side reached the conclusion that diplomacy was going to be fruitless. The military experts reached the decision they had the assets in place to do the job and hit the targets they wanted to do. And it was the confluence of those two things that led to this timing.
Assessment, a preliminary assessment and understanding of what's happened in the last couple of hours. How would you assess the strike's success rate in degrading the capacity of long-range term when it comes to Iran's new military arsenal, its capabilities, its missile system? How far have these strikes been successful?
Well, I think we have to look to the strikes that occurred last year during the 12 days where the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran. If you remember back then, and your viewers will remember, that Iran was able to launch hundreds and hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles in a matter of hours towards Israel last year. This time around, you can see there's been, while they have attacked various countries in the Gulf and in the Middle East, it's been limited. I think their capability last year was greatly reduced. I don't think they were able to rebuild that capability in such a short period of time. I don't see them having enormous long-range capabilities. They've been shipping enormous amounts of drones to Russia to fight Ukraine, so their drone stockpile has been greatly reduced. The capability is not what it was a year ago, and with today's actions, it's even more reduced. We've seen a lot of footage on Israeli TV from the Israeli Air Force taking out a lot of the land-based missile launchers, missiles actually in place getting ready to be launched. So I'm confident that the capability of Iran is greatly reduced. It doesn't mean they're not going to go down without a fight. It's not in their nature. But the concern that existed a year ago is far less today.
And, we heard of sirens blaring across multiple Israel cities, including Jerusalem, Haifa. How have your air defense systems worked up to prevent some of these attacks from Iran? What is the success like? Has Israel been attacked? Is there some sort of destruction there that you can report right now? Or is all the cities, including Jerusalem and Haifa, currently safe?
They're quite safe. There've been a few hits to a few structures, nothing serious. The air defense systems of Israel are quite robust. You have the Arrow missile system, you have David Sling, you have the Patriot missile system, so you can get long range, short range drones. Then you have the Air Force planes, both the U.S. and Israeli, that are there that can shoot down the slow flying drones. So there is a strong defensive capability in Israel, and so far those systems, including Iron Dome, have been quite successful in taking down most of the attempts to attack cities throughout the country.
And we also know that Israel has mobilized all its reservists. What preparations are currently underway in case this becomes a long-term war? Because you can expect a multi-wave attack from Iran. How is Israel preparing itself?
So Israel has a very robust home front command, which makes sure that citizens know where the bomb shelters are, that citizens are kept aware in real time of where attacks may be coming and when it's okay to go outside. The reserves are being called up. Israel's Air Force, its Iron Dome system. I mean, it's a multi-integrated system that Israel has worked on and perfected over the decades out of necessity. The big difference between an Iran and an Israel is that Israel has a nuclear capability that it's never used to threaten a single country in the world, while Iran continually uses its nuclear and ballistic capabilities to threaten its neighbors in the world. So the Israeli Home Front Command is in good shape. The citizens are in good shape. Both my daughters, who are in different places right now, just as a personal note, they're doing okay. Everyone is very calm. There's no panic in the streets. So everyone is, and quite frankly, the Israeli people are supportive of this action. It was about 2,500 years ago that Cyrus I, the Persian king, saved the Jewish people. And 2,500 years later, I'm hoping that between the Americans and the Jewish people, we will help the people of Persia and the Iranians be free from the Ayatollahs.
Happy to hear that your family is safe and doing well. In which case, my last question to you. What does victory look like? This could be a long-term war, involving entire Middle East for that matter. Many Western countries have already suggested that they could retaliate if Iran were to continue with its offensive. As it evolves into a sustained campaign, what is the timeline for victory that you're giving to yourself, and what could be the civilian cost like? Are there any permutations, combinations, given the arsenal that Iran enjoys at this point? Although depleted, it still has a substantial 300,000 plus missiles in its arsenal. So given all of these permutations, combinations, what's the timeline you're looking at by which this war is likely to come to an end?
Putting timelines on these types of military actions is quite tough.
Okay.
Is this a matter of days? Is it a matter of weeks? It's hard to say. I don't see it being a matter of months. A lot will depend also on the end goal here, which, as the president has just said a few minutes ago in a recent statement, the goal is regime change. That will not happen just by bombing military facilities and taking out members of the Iranian leadership. It will happen when the people in Iran decide to show the courage which they've shown in the past over and over again, and believe that this time the regime's capabilities domestically to put down riots and insurrection are going to be very limited, and they take over the institutions and take back Iran for the Persian people. That timeline, again, is it a matter of days? Is it a matter of weeks? It's hard to say, but I don't see it lasting months and months. There's an enormous amount of military might that is being brought to bear both by the U.S. and Israel. That will not be, that will not let up. It will be sustained, and I believe that we will, God willing, see a regime change very soon in Iran.
All right, you're saying a regime change in a month's time. Is that realistic, a timeline?
Again, I don't want to put a timeline on it. I don't see sustained military operations lasting that long. So, I'm hopeful that if the Americans and Israelis hit as hard as they have the capability to do and take out the key leadership as well as the capabilities of the Iranian regime to put down any kind of rebellion within the country, that will bring the Iranian people out into the streets sooner rather than later, and they will take back the country for themselves as they deserve. All
right. So is Israel and US going to strike until they kill the top leadership? And who would you call that top leadership? Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the president of Iran? Where does it stop? Where does the bombing stop? Or when does the bombing stop, rather?
Again, there are military assessments and all kinds of intelligence assessments. Yeah, you can't just, Khomeini is certainly the main target.
Okay.
But remember, in these countries, you also have to take out the next level of leadership, the people that control the army, the police forces. You have to take out that next level of leadership so that no one fills the vacuum when you take, when you cut off the head of the snake. So I believe that there are many targets that have been identified by the Americans and the Israelis in terms of regime leadership, and I'm hopeful that both America and and Israel will not let up until those targets are eliminated, so that the Iranian people, the Persian people, can take back their country from the Ayatollahs.
All right, George Birnbaum, thank you very much for taking time out. Thank you for joining us here on News9.
Thank you so much.
And we heard there from the former advisor to Israeli Prime Minister saying that the war may not last beyond a month, but it will not end. And the bombing of Iran will not end until there is a vacuum in the leadership, until a leadership vacuum is created, which involves bringing down and killing every person who could be a potential successor to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, as well as Ayatollah Khamenei, because he is in and continues to be the top target of US and Israeli strikes. We will, of course, keep tracking all those details for you here on News9. Time now for a very short break. News and updates will continue.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
Bangladesh is on edge. Protesters also targeted symbols of Bangladesh's political history.
Mr. Yunus is being the new Jinnah of Bangladesh.
What defines this mob? Who are these people? Where do they come from? Pratham Alo, the newspaper, has also called it a terror attack.
Yunus is the Osama bin Laden of today's world.
The state has no strength, or those who are on the street are the state themselves. There's nothing called spontaneous mob. There's a theory called you keep the pot boiling.
You define a concept called against all odds.
The first and foremost is an overwhelming desire to win.
Does fortune favor the brave?
Oh, by a long shot. No guts, no glory, no pain, no gain.
My understanding of sportsmanship is playing with the spirit, and gamesmanship is where you're leveraging the margins of the rule.
People are not going to remember you by the losses. They're going to remember you by the wins.
By the wins. The single reason for your loss is that the lack of killer punch in you.
To this day, I have won more tour titles than any other Asian.
What would require a Vijay Amritraj to lead the way again?
Okay.
I think sports is the panacea. Sports is the ultimate solution.
I served the United Nations for 7 years as a messenger of peace alongside Muhammad Ali. He always said that boxing was a journey for him to be able to deliver what he needed to deliver.
Failures are the greatest teachers.
I've always looked at the cup half full, and as far as I'm concerned, my life has given me so much that I always feel that the cup has been overflowing. Whenever people ask me in the US, am I Republican or Democrat, I always say I'm Indian.
American and Israeli forces attacked Iran, destroying the military infrastructure.
Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
Your first reaction to the large-scale operation that is now coming to light increasingly with massive casualties. Former advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. How is this the correct, right timing to bomb Iran?
Israel's dominance in the region politically, economically, and militarily. And that is why the attack was carried out by the Israelis first.
The embassy in Jerusalem was empty.
America has launched up till now a decisive operations anyway. When you go on militarily.
There's also a nationwide internet shutdown in Iran, which is aimed at, of course, suppressing any coordination amongst people.
We understand Iran is a radical state.
When drinking water turns deadly, it demands answers.
What is really going on there?
News9 brings you.
Imagine water that you drink.
Contaminated drinking water in Indore, revealing a disturbing link to at least 15 reported deaths.
Typhoid outbreak in tribal areas. 104 patients.
After 15 people were killed.
Foul, frothy water from taps.
You would assume it's safe, it turned deadly.
Because how is that happening?
Different cities. One national crisis. Bharat. Quest for clean water. News9, in your interest.
Well, I'm all set to explore this beautiful country. Hi, hello, namaste, salam. This is your host Ruchira, and I welcome you all in the brand new season, Uzbekistan.
Delhi is losing the fight against pollution.
This is not a story of just children. This is the story of every elderly person in the National Capital Region.
Delhi's hazardous air quality.
Smog capital of the world.
Delhi pollution has left us sick and exposed, also frankly embarrassed.
Hazardous air quality are disrupting daily life.
Growing issue of a toxic air looming large over Delhi.
Delhi's air quality index has been hovering between 300 and 400 for the past week.
The culprit was the same PM 2.5, the main pollutant which is emitted from heavy industries, power plants, vehicles, crop burning and coal-based heating.
The overall air quality of the city continues to remain in the very poor category.
We look at how Delhi is once again struggling with danger.
It's not just about today, it's about the future.
What you saw me on the field and off the field is like chalk and cheese. Is leadership acquired or leaders are born?
No guts, no glory, no pain, no gain.
My tendency is to go for magic, not for perfection. I never give up. I like to win. If you believe you can, you can.
Just me being here, it's a statement.
You defying a concept called against all odds, Destiny's Child.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
US President Donald Trump claims Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei is dead on Truth Social, calls it the single greatest chance for Iranians to reclaim control, and warns military action will continue amid escalating tensions. Iran media refutes claim of Khamenei's killing, says reports are psychological warfare after Trump's assertions on Supreme Leader's death. Cheers and celebrations heard in Tehran following reports of Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's death. Several reports claim Iran's Defense Minister Amir Nazardeh was also killed in US and Israel joint strikes on Iran. Iran confirms that at least 40 people have been killed in strikes at girls' school in southern Iran's Minab. MA issues statement on escalating tensions in West Asia. India urges restraint and de-escalation, calls for respect of sovereignty. The big story that we are tracking at the moment, Donald Trump claims that Khamenei is dead. Trump has said that one of the most evil people in history is dead. Trump, this is the justice for people of Iran. He also went on to add that this is the justice for all great Americans. He went on to say that Khamenei was unable to avoid our intelligence. He said he couldn't avoid our sophisticated tracking systems, and there is not a thing that he or others could have done. This is the big story that we are tracking at the moment. Trump has put it on Truth Social that is Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei is dead. He said that one of the most evil people in history is dead. This is the claim that he's put it out on Truth Social. Trump also added that this is justice for the people of Iran and that this is justice for all great Americans. He went on to say that Khamenei was unable to avoid our intelligence. He couldn't avoid our sophisticated tracking systems, is what he went ahead and said. There is not a thing that he or others could have done. This is the Truth Social post that has been put by the American President Donald Trump with the death of, or rather claiming the death of Khamenei in strikes that have been carried out by US and Israel on Iran. The big claim was put out on Truth Social. Khamenei, who is the supreme leader of the theocracy in Iran, is dead, is what Trump has claimed. And now questions being asked about the veracity of that information, and also there is refutes that are also coming in with regards to the death of Khamenei. We are also saying that Trump has put this particular information on social media. The nature of the attack on the presidential palace. Yesterday itself, there were 6 missiles that had landed at the presidential palace, but it's not confirmed whether it was from this strike that they were able to go ahead and make the claim that Khamenei is dead. Also, the US has been keeping its air defense systems in the region on alert, and there have been attacks by Iran, retaliatory attacks on the part of Iran on several of the American bases there, and also on America's allies in the Gulf states. There were reports coming in that overnight there have been reports of flares being seen and anti-missile defense systems activated after missiles were seen flying over Qatar as well as in Israel as well. And there are reports also coming in from the UAE of missile attacks. But the big story that we are tracking at the moment is the claim that Khamenei is dead. Now, these were the scenes of celebrations have also erupted on the streets of Tehran after that information was put out. Meanwhile, the regime has been trying hard to control the internet in the region. And at the same time, there are also reports that not only Khamenei, there has been attempts to break the command structure of the Iranian regime, especially with its ties to its defense forces. Reports have also been coming in that important defense officials have also been targeted, and some of them have been killed as well. There have been reports of an important minister from the Air Force also being targeted and killed. So at the moment, the attempt is to ensure that the regime is weakened to a large extent when it comes to its ability to execute military power, and that has been the strategy that's been placed as well. As reports come in, it has been said that there have been celebrations across Tehran with streets erupting in people coming out and celebrating the claim that the US president has put forth, saying that Ali Khamenei has been killed in an operation. Now, Khamenei has been one of the important leaders in Iran, especially the one who has been holding on to power for quite some time. He has been the spearhead for Iran's foreign policy as well. He has been representing the theocracy that had taken over Iranian administrative structures ever since the fall of the Shah. And now it is being said that probably this could be, if the claims are true, one of the most devastating blows to Iranian leadership and the theocracy that has been in place in Iran for almost 45 years. Now, this is something that would in fact also be looking at the social upheaval that could create in Iran. There have been large, sizable groups of people who wanted the regime to be out and were looking for the theocracy to be ended in Iran, and now those groups have been coming out and celebrating the claim that Iran's supreme leader has been killed in strikes on Iran. More details are yet to be awaited. There have been reports saying that important structures in Iran had been targeted by American missiles. Meanwhile, there is also reports coming in that a 40-day public warning has been in fact been declared in Iran over the death of Khamenei. This is the big story that we are tracking up as of now. Those who are tuning to us, the big story coming out from Iran is the death of the supreme leader Khamenei, and Khamenei is said to have been killed in joint strikes by the United States as well as Israel. This is the big story that we are tracking at the moment. Meanwhile, Iran has been refuting it as well, but now it seems that there has been reports coming in that a 40-day period of public mourning has been declared for the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. Ayatollah Khamenei was one of the persons who has survived several of these wars, and as of now it is being said that the American claim that he's been killed in the joint strike in fact puts across the big power vacuum that has been created within the theocratic structure of Iran. The questions being raised about who the successors would be for the supreme leader. Meanwhile, there have been reports coming in that the US still continues with its strikes on Iran, especially targeting the administrative structure that also underpins its military execution as well. And important information coming in with regards to Khamenei's death as well, where a 40-day period of mourning has been in fact been announced as well. The missile strikes that began yesterday, it had been targeted, precise, and at the same time looking at weakening the regime. The regime in fact had been facing a huge financial crisis as well, especially after its missile barrage against Israel and consequent targets from Israel also being looked into. The big question over here was the latest hostilities breaking out was about the nuclear program that Iran was pursuing earlier after the Americans had conducted a strike in which most of the nuclear facilities had been destroyed. Trump had said that they would not allow this regime to have a nuclear weapon. Meanwhile, Iran's proxies too were in fact targeted in earlier strikes as well. And now with the war reaching Iran, the big question being asked with the strikes is how effective is the Iranian regime right now, whether it's able to execute, whether it's still in power. This is the big story that we are tracking at the moment. Donald Trump claiming that Khamenei is dead. Trump has said that one of the most evil people in history is dead. These are the claims put forward by Trump, and he went on to say that this is justice for the people of Iran, and Trump has said that this is justice for all great Americans. This is what he's said on his Truth Social post. Khamenei was unable to escape the intelligence. As of now, Donald Trump claims Khamenei is dead. Now, we are trying to, in fact, get you more information as to how they were able to go ahead and track Khamenei as well. Information coming in that probably a combination of satellite intelligence and human intelligence on the ground is what contributed in locating Khamenei's position. Khamenei must have been taken with regard to bunkers that would have been built underground, and therefore tracking him at his position was something that the Americans would have taken with the help of satellite and human intelligence on the ground. And here the Trump making that big claim that there was no way that when the strikes happened that Khamenei or the others could have expected it. Iran media, meanwhile, has said that 40 days of public mourning has been declared in Iran. Meanwhile, Iran media has also confirmed that Supreme Leader of Iran, Khamenei, is dead. Khamenei's daughter, grandson, has also been killed. Women on streets dancing at public places in Tehran as well. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is dead is what the Iranian state media is claiming right now. 40 days of public mourning announced in Iran after Khamenei is dead. This is according to the state media. Iran's Fars news agency says that Khamenei's daughter as well as his grandson have been killed in the attack. This is the big story, and also at the same time celebrations have erupted in Tehran. Iran media says that 40 days of public mourning has been announced in Iran. So clearly there has been a distinguished attempt. The old regime's supporters are also at the same time trying to exert their control as the vacuum builds up in Iran, while the media has claimed that the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei has been killed. More information awaited as to the manner of the strike that was carried out on Khamenei as well as others. Meanwhile, it is being said, or rather the Iranian media is claiming that his daughter as well as his grandson has been killed in that attack. This is the big story that we are tracking at the moment. Iranian media says that 40 days of public mourning has been announced in Iran. Iran's Fars news agency is the one that has claimed that Khamenei's daughter and grandson have been killed. Meanwhile, there have been celebrations on the streets of Tehran with regard to the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. Ayatollah Khamenei was heading the theocratic state of Iran. He has experience of being in its executive arm. He was one of the persons who led the country, especially during the war with Iraq, almost 10 years of war with Iraq, which ended in 1988. And he was in fact one of the key personalities who led that country during that time as well. And there have been several other crises with recent skirmishes with Israel and also Iran's proxies being targeted, especially after the October 7th attacks in Israel. There has been immense pressure building on the theocratic state and its top leadership on its activities in other Gulf states as well. Meanwhile, as a point of retaliation, Iran did in fact fire ballistic missiles into its Gulf states as well. But big story coming out from Iran is that the Supreme Leader Khamenei has been killed. Khamenei has been known to be an Islamic scholar and was in fact known for his pragmatic view as well when it comes to internal political settings as such, but was very conservative when it came to Iran's foreign policy, and especially with regard to the question of Israel and with regard to the United States. Now, these are visuals coming in from the streets in Tel Aviv as well, where you can see large crowds in fact gathering out and celebrating there as well, where you have the flags of the old era. The Shah's flags have also come out on the streets of Tehran, and there you can see massive celebrations that are taking place with the old flags of the Persian nation also coming out, the Shah's flags also coming out in the open, and huge celebrations taking place in Tehran. Now, there has been a series of protests and social upheavals that Iran has been facing for the last 5 years, especially with regard to protests from women, from where it started over the issue of head covering coverings, and from then onwards it did spiral into social upheaval, with other issues also coming, the latest being the financial crisis that the regime had found itself in, especially after its engagement with Israel, where it had fired a series of ballistic missiles, and the sanctions had become quite severe on Iran's oil exports as well. And here these visuals in fact show celebrations amid Khamenei's death claims that have taken place. And here these visuals in fact show that the old Shah's flags have also come out in the open, and the Shah's flags, especially with the rising sun and the lion holding the sword, as it was the symbolism that was there till the fall of the Shah's regime. And after the takeover of the theocratic state, the flag had been changed, and now the old flags are coming. Shah supporters also coming out in the open to celebrate the death of Khamenei, the claim that has been made by the United States on its Truth Social post. Meanwhile, 4 people have been injured after attack at the Dubai International Airport. We have some big news that is coming up as of now. 4 people have been injured after attack at Dubai International Airport. Authorities confirmed that a concourse of DXB sustained minor damage, but the situation was quickly contained. The incident comes as Iran continues to launch strikes on US bases in the region. Meanwhile, at Abu Dhabi's Zayed International Airport, 1 person has been killed and 7 others have been injured. Abu Dhabi airports confirmed the fatality, identified the deceased as an Asian national. This is the big story that we are tracking at the moment, as the situation in the West Asian region in fact becomes quite volatile. The Iranians have been launching attacks on American bases as well. There has been an attack on the Dubai International Airport. Authorities had confirmed that the concourse at DXB sustained minor damage, but the situation was immediately brought under control. The incident comes as Iran continues to launch strikes on the United States bases in the region. Meanwhile, at Abu Dhabi's Zayed International Airport, 1 person has been killed and 7 others have been injured. Abu Dhabi Airport confirmed the fatality, identifying the deceased as an Asian national. This is the big story we are tracking. These are visuals coming in from the Dubai airport in the strike that had happened at the Dubai airport. It had resulted in dust and debris in one particular block, but authorities in Dubai saying that they were able to immediately act and bring the situation under control. These are the first visuals after the strike had taken place at the Dubai airport, and there have been attempts to bring the situation under control as well. But it's not only the Dubai airport that has been attacked. There have been reports coming in that the Zayed International Airport in Abu Dhabi was also attacked, and 1 person has been killed and 7 people have been injured. And the person who had died, the authorities in Abu Dhabi are saying that the person is of an Asian national, and more details are awaited on that. So strikes happening in Dubai as well as in Abu Dhabi as Iran continues with its missile attack on its neighbors and also on GCC countries. The aim is to target the American bases, so the regime actively using its missile capability to target American bases in the region. There reports are coming in that in UAE alone 2 airports have been attacked. One is at the Dubai airport, and the Sheikh Zayed airport in Abu Dhabi has been also attacked. And the missiles were the ballistic missiles. Several of them were intercepted before it reached, but few of them did pass through the security net and struck airports in Dubai as well as in Abu Dhabi. These are in fact visuals that showcase the Iranian missile attacks near Burj Khalifa that in fact seen from afar. And here these are visuals from the immediate strike that happened at the airport in Dubai. As you can see, the dust just kicked up after the strike inside that complex. The first responders did respond and brought the situation under control, is what they're saying. The claim from the authorities is that it was a minor damage that has happened to one section of that airport. Iran has capabilities of long-range ballistic missiles that could target most of the countries in the region, especially the GCC countries, all come under the range of its ballistic missiles. And also, these ballistic missiles have a range that would also reach Israel as well. Israel has also been subjected to a series of ballistic missile attacks. Meanwhile, Iran's ambassador to the United Nations has claimed that hundreds of civilians have been killed and injured in US and Israeli attacks. Iran's ambassador to the UN, Amir Zaid Iravani, told a meeting of the Security Council that more than 100 children had been killed in an attack on a school. Responding to aggression and large-scale war, Iran is exercising its inherent and lawful right to self-defense, is what he said. All bases, facilities and assets of the hostile force shall be regarded as legitimate military targets. This is what the Iranian ambassador to the UN has said. Iran's ambassador says in the UN that the country exercises its right to self-defense and said that hundreds of civilians were killed and injured in the US-Israeli attacks. Iran's ambassador to the UN, Amir Zaid Iravani, told a meeting of the Security Council that more than 100 children had been killed in an attack on a school. And responding to the aggression on large-scale war, he went on to say that Iran is exercising its inherent and lawful right to self-defense. All bases, facilities and assets of the hostile force shall be regarded as legitimate military targets, is what Iran has in fact claimed. The big story that we are tracking at the moment, Iran has said that hostile forces bases will be a legitimate target, especially after strikes on Iran. The UN ambassador of Iran makes it clear that Iran is exercising its inherent right at self-defense. These visuals coming in also speak about strikes happening in various regions of Iran, and there have been a systematic effort to destroy Iran's missile launch capabilities. The effective strategy that has been used by the Israeli Air Force as well as the US fighters in the region is that most of these planes are trying to target the launchers of these ballistic missiles to cripple the missile force of the Iranian regime. Iran has built over the years a sizable number of ballistic missiles and launchers, which it has in fact used against Israel in its previous engagement, and also all these missiles have the capability to target the bases and countries' capitals of its neighbors as well as the extended Middle East region as well. We're waiting for more information with regard to the situation in Iran, where celebrations are also breaking out. But as of now, there have been also reports saying that Iran had attacked Abu Dhabi as well as Dubai with its ballistic missiles. There's been a minor damage to the Dubai airport. Situation has been brought under control, is what the first responders have said in Dubai airport. Meanwhile, in Abu Dhabi, there has been an Asian national who has been killed after attack was carried out at Zayed International Airport. These visuals, in fact, showcase the kind